My name's Jarrod Amery. My wife Emma and our 6 children live here at Forbes, New South Wales on this farm. We have sheep, we grow barley and wheat and canola on our farm. I love agriculture. It has its amazing times, but it also has its challenging times. And February of 2019, it was dry. When your funds are starting to run out, you've really got to ask some deep questions of how you're going to get bang for your buck. We've got to sow our crops. God, we don't want to waste the little that we have. And I didn't seem to be hearing God very clearly. And I was getting really desperate. And I just climbed this great big tree. And I said, you know what, God? I'm not getting out of this tree until you talk to me. Nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And I'd talk to God again and there's nothing. And I'd look around and I'd go, God, I can't see you, but I know that you never leave me or forsake me. I know that you are here. I know it. And it got dark. So I get down out of the tree and I heard nothing. And so then a week later, I went to Sydney to a Christian business conference, even though my business felt like it wasn't going too good. All of a sudden, I had my eyes shut. I had like a vision. I could see very clearly farmland, and then all of a sudden I realised that what I was visually seeing was my own farm. And then it flew across, and I could see the tree that I'd sat in, and then all of a sudden I could see me in the tree, and God just spoke to me right there and then and said, I was with you in the tree. And I was like, whoa, wow, God, you were there. Still no rain. The drought is red hot. There's dust blowing. Every week you get a dust storm. A month has gone by. I have this really cool dream. It has a tractor, it has an air seeder, and it's sowing weensy canola seeds into dry dirt. And it rains, the canola crop, it grows. Best crop in the neighbourhood, in the district. And the dream finished, and I woke up in the morning. It's just a dream. And I told Emma about it, and I'm like, this is really strange. And Emma's like, maybe this is a God dream. And we talked about this, about actually planting seeds into dry soil in the middle of a drought with no rain forecast. But then what happened is the more you think about it, the more fear creeps in. Just the thought of spending $36,000 on the seed was enough to cripple you with fear. I talked to my agronomist, who is an advisor in growing healthy plants on farms so that we have a healthy business. And he just shook his head and said, nah, no way. Right there, I had a decision to make. Am I gonna put my faith in God, that this is a God dream? It's just like do or die. So we went and bought the seed. And there's dust everywhere. We sowed night and day. There's nearly 1,000 acres we sown. As we were sowing, some rain came. 7 days later, we got another rain. And the crop came up out of the ground just as I'd seen in the dream. We sown 80% of the paddock and it rained. And then we sown the last 20% of the crop after the rain, as you would traditionally do. And that part of the crop, there wasn't enough rain to hardly make it grow, and it wasn't even harvestable. So if we hadn't stepped out in faith and done exactly what God had shown me in the dream, we would have had no crop. And we cut it for hay, and we made hundreds and hundreds of bales of hay out of this canola. And we had people ringing us after this hay because there was hardly any hay for people to buy to feed their animals. And we made 80% of our income off 10% of our land mass that year. And it was enough income to survive to the end of the drought, and 2020 was an amazing year. But it was a difference between possibly going bankrupt and not, just by stepping out in faith and believing that the dream that we had was from God.